Welcome to Big Idea Herdly, where you can learn something new in just a few minutes. Today we study together Smart Management, how simple heuristics help leaders make good decisions in an uncertain world, by Jochen and Shenghua Luan. In this book, we probe into how embracing simple heuristics can empower leaders to make more effective decisions in complex and unpredictable environments. Jochen is Professor of Organizational Behavior and Human Resources and founding director of the Mindfulness Initiative at the Lee Kong Chian School of Business, Singapore Management University. Don't go away. Herdly the editor will be right back with the story. In the unpredictable world of management, traditional approaches often fall short. Leaders are constantly bombarded with vast amounts of data, complex scenarios, and high-stakes decisions. It's easy to assume that the more information we gather and analyze, the better our decisions will be. However, this book challenges that notion by advocating for the use of simple heuristics, mental shortcuts that allow for quick, efficient, and often more accurate decision-making, especially in complex and uncertain environments. One of the key concepts explored is the idea that in a volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous VUCA world, complex models and exhaustive analyses may not be as effective as simpler strategies. Simple heuristics, like the 1N rule for investment allocation or the gaze heuristic used by athletes, provide a robust framework that allows leaders to make good decisions without getting bogged down by unnecessary complexity. These heuristics work precisely because they ignore the noise and focus on the most relevant information. For instance, the 1N rule is a powerful heuristic where an investor allocates their resources equally across all available options, regardless of past performance or predicted outcomes. This method is surprisingly effective, outperforming more sophisticated strategies, particularly in environments where uncertainty is high. The success of this rule lies in its simplicity. It reduces the risk of overfitting to past data and prevents decision paralysis. Story 1. The gaze heuristic in sports. A classic example of a simple heuristic in action is the gaze heuristic, commonly used by athletes. Imagine a baseball player trying to catch a fly ball. Instead of calculating the ball's trajectory using complex physics equations, the player uses a simple rule. Keep your gaze on the ball and adjust your running speed so that the angle of your gaze remains constant. This heuristic enables the player to catch the ball successfully, relying on intuitive, real-time adjustments rather than overcomplicated calculations. This story illustrates how, in dynamic and uncertain situations, relying on simple rules can lead to better outcomes. Just as the player catches the ball without needing to calculate its exact path, leaders can make effective decisions by focusing on the most critical factors and avoiding over-analysis. In the words of the book, the first option that comes to mind is often the best one. Story 2. The power of satisficing in budgeting. Another compelling story is that of Herbert Simon, who developed the concept of satisficing, making decisions that are good enough rather than optimal. In the 1930s, Simon was tasked with helping the city of Milwaukee allocate its budget. Traditional economic theory would suggest that Simon should analyze every possible option to find the optimal solution. However, he quickly realized that this was impractical, given the uncertainty and limited resources. Instead, he used a heuristic approach, adding incremental changes to last year's budget based on the most pressing needs. Simon's approach was not only efficient, but also effective, allowing the city to make the best possible use of its limited resources without getting bogged down in endless calculations. This approach is a powerful reminder that in many situations, good enough is not just acceptable, it's the smartest choice available. Story 3. Elon Musk's hiring heuristic. In the high-stakes world of hiring, Elon Musk is known for using a simple yet effective heuristic. If a candidate can provide evidence of exceptional ability, they are hired. If not, they are not. This one clever cue heuristic allows Musk to quickly identify and recruit top talent without the need for lengthy interviews or complex assessments. This method has served him well, helping him build teams that have driven innovation at companies like Tesla and SpaceX. Musk's heuristic highlights how focusing on a single, critical piece of information can lead to better decisions than trying to consider every possible factor. In the book, this approach is described as a fast and frugal tree, which simplifies decision-making by reducing the number of cues that need to be considered. The success of Musk's teams underscores the effectiveness of this approach, particularly in fast-moving and uncertain environments. The importance of ignoring irrelevant information. One of the most counterintuitive yet crucial insights from this book is that sometimes less information leads to better decisions. This concept, known as the less is more effect, is particularly relevant in situations where additional information can create noise and lead to overfitting, where a model fits the past data so closely that it fails to predict future outcomes accurately. By focusing on the most critical factors and ignoring the rest, leaders can make faster, more confident decisions that are less likely to be derailed by irrelevant details. This approach is evident in the way experienced managers use the hiatus heuristic to predict customer behavior. Instead of analyzing mountains of data on past purchases, they simply classify a customer as inactive if they haven't made a purchase within a certain time frame. This single cue heuristic often outperforms more complex models, demonstrating the power of simplicity in decision-making. The role of ecological rationality. The concept of ecological rationality is central to understanding why simple heuristics work so well in certain environments. Ecological rationality refers to the idea that a heuristic is only effective in specific contexts. A heuristic that works brilliantly in one situation might fail in another. Therefore, the key to making smart decisions lies not just in using heuristics, but in selecting the right heuristic for the right environment. For example, the 1N rule is highly effective in uncertain investment environments where it's impossible to predict future returns accurately. However, in a more stable environment with reliable data, a different approach might be more appropriate. Understanding the ecological rationality of heuristics allows leaders to tailor their decision-making strategies to the specific challenges they face. Leveraging intuition in decision-making. Another significant theme in this book is the role of intuition in decision-making. Intuition is often misunderstood as a vague or irrational feeling, but in reality, it's a form of fast, unconscious pattern recognition based on experience. In uncertain environments where traditional analysis might fail, intuition can be a powerful tool. The book cites numerous examples where experienced professionals make better decisions by trusting their gut instincts rather than overanalyzing the situation. One of the most compelling examples is that of firefighters, who often have to make life-and-death decisions in a matter of seconds. Experienced firefighters don't have time to weigh all possible options. Instead, they rely on their intuition, which has been honed by years of experience. This intuitive decision-making is not just fast, it's also highly accurate, demonstrating the value of trusting your instincts in high-stakes situations. Applying heuristics to team management. The principles of simple heuristics also extend to team management and leadership. Building and managing a team in an uncertain environment requires quick, decisive actions. The book provides examples of how successful leaders use heuristics to make effective team decisions, such as determining the optimal team size or deciding when to intervene in conflicts. One memorable story involves a tech company leader who used a simple heuristic to determine the ideal size for a project team. Rather than trying to optimize based on various factors, he simply limited teams to no more than 6 members. This heuristic was based on the idea that smaller teams are more agile and better at communication. The result was a series of highly efficient teams that delivered exceptional results, demonstrating once again that simplicity can lead to better outcomes. Conclusion. As the editor of Heuristics, by embracing and understanding these simple heuristics, we can navigate the complexities of leadership with greater confidence and effectiveness, ultimately fostering a future where decision-making becomes an art of simplicity rather than a burden of complexity. In the fast-paced, unpredictable world of management, the ability to make quick, effective decisions is crucial. The concept of using simple heuristics, straightforward rules that guide decision-making, has been a central theme throughout our discussion. These heuristics empower leaders to cut through the noise, focus on what truly matters, and make decisions that are both swift and accurate. To further illustrate this, consider the story of Jeff Bezos' hiring strategy at Amazon. Bezos employed a simple, three-question heuristic when evaluating potential hires. Will you admire this person? Will this person raise the average level of effectiveness of the group they're entering? Along what dimension might this person be a superstar? This fast and frugal approach allowed Bezos to build a team that was not just competent, but exceptional, driving Amazon's growth from a small startup to a global giant. The simplicity of the heuristic ensured that only those who could truly elevate the company were brought on board, making it a powerful tool in the face of uncertainty. This story reinforces our key point. In complex and unpredictable environments, simple heuristics provide a reliable, effective framework for decision-making. They help leaders focus on the most important factors, avoid overcomplication, and make decisions that are both fast and right. As we've seen, these tools are not just theoretical concepts, but practical strategies that have driven some of the most successful leaders and companies. As the editor of Heuristics, by applying these simple yet powerful tools, we can not only improve our decision-making, but also cultivate an environment where clarity and effectiveness thrive, even in the face of uncertainty.